Varada here, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to explore another way of adding color to your detailed floral sets without doing a whole lot of coloring. And the technique we are going to see today, or my experiment we are going to see today, is using solid stamp sets. Some of those geometric stamp sets that we all have. Yeah, we are going to use two of my stamp sets that were recently released by rubberstamps.com. This one here is the large floral, and I'm going to pair it with another which is very geometric half circles, solid half circles stamp set. What you see me do here is use MISTI to stamp my image, and I'm stamping it in Concord and 9 mushroom ink. The inks I have used are right here, and for the base layer of my detailed image as well as the sentiment, I'm going to use the mushroom ink. I wanted my outlines of those florals or those lines of that image to be almost black but not really black. So I went with mushroom, which is a pretty good gray color, and I think it goes perfectly well with some of the other inks that we have picked. So I'm doing multiple stamping just to make sure I get really crisp and nice image. You will see that I keep cleaning my stamp set, and I've put a tiny amount of that stamp cleaner liquid you get from on this cloth over here, and I'm cleaning my stamp set only because I know I will touch those areas, the negative areas, with my fingers, and I'll get smudges everywhere. By themselves, even if there is ink on those negative areas, it won't transfer to the card panel because the actual lines are much more taller or much more outward than those recessed negative areas. But I'm very clumsy when it comes to crafting, especially, so I do not want to risk any finger smudges. That's all. My image is ready here, and I am pulling up my three different sizes of half circles that I have, and I'm going to pair them with three different colors of ink. For the first panel over here, I ended up creating two panels, but for the first panel over here, I'm going to use the two different generational stamping. So I'm going to stamp once, I'm going to ink my stamp it on the panel without re-inking. I'm going to stamp one more time. I think this is called as second generation stamping. It gives a level of variation between the same ink colors. You're creating a lighter version of the same color that you have stamped with, so that's what I'm going for. So another thing that I want to keep changing here is the direction in which my images are going. So I have done horizontal, then I have done vertical, and for the smallest one I'm going to do slightly 45 degrees. So the idea is you are going to see color only in these solid stamped image spaces, and rest of your floral image is simply going to shine through. That's the look I was going for. That's it. I'm not going to add any other color in this, and just with this technique you can do so many different things. I stopped at adding this 6 circle. I could have covered the entire panel in different flavors of the same half circles being stamped. So 6 half circles I stamped. I could have stopped there, or you could cover the entire panel, or you could cover only the borders. You can just go to town, play with it. I just decided to concentrate the colored areas towards the center of my image, just to bring the eyes, just to bring the attention to that area. But the rest of them will look equally good. For the second panel, I decided to still stay somewhat similar, but instead of doing second generational stamping, I want to see what it takes or what it looks like if I do just the normal stamping. So ink every time I stamp. So first I'm prepping my image just because I want my colored areas to be closer to the flowers or to the center of the flowers. So that's why I'm doing the image floral image first and then I'm stamping with the solid areas later. You could always change the order in which you stamp. Like you could create a whole panel of lightly stamped half circles, and on top of it you could stamp your floral image and it will still look like the image has colors, or you could even heat emboss. That could be another look. I'm sure I'm going to play with some of these ideas in the coming days, but I was so excited about sharing with you another way you can add color to your florals without having to color. I have nothing against coloring, please don't get me wrong. I have nothing against coloring, but sometimes I want that image to shine through without a whole lot of effort. Coloring something takes time, takes patience. Sometimes I don't have those luxuries. So this is another shortcut I wanted to share with you. So what you saw over here is I have stamped the image multiple times. I have cleaned that image and set it aside. I also brought in my stamp cleaner over here, because what I noticed is every time I stamp the half circle, it picks up some of that mushroom image onto the stamp. So now the stamp has color. And in my previous card I noticed that there are some places where those outlines of the older part of that flower shines through when I've stamped it in the new place. So I didn't want to repeat that. I've kept my stamp cleaner on the side. I'm starting fresh every single time I'm inking and stamping with an image. It also helps to make sure that I'm not cross contaminating my ink tubes with mushroom ink picked up from the floral image, and it is also not transferring double of that color, or at least 1.5 times the intensity of that color when I'm stamping next time, because as you saw in the previous card, second generational stamping leaves ink on your stamp. If I were to add more color to it, it would only make it darker. So in between each of these stamping, I'm cleaning up. Another thing I decided to change a little bit is not to stamp them to look like circles, but offset one image from the other, just for giggles. There is no rhyme or reason here. I'm simply doing it because why not? So after all these are experiments, and we like some, we don't like some. It's okay. I like this one though. I like what is going on over here. Okay, so my second card panel is also ready. This time I decided to add a little more bling, and see, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is exactly why I do not trust myself by with stamping directly on the card front of a card, on the front panel of a card, because I will always get boo-boos on the back side with my finger smudges or ink smudges from my finger. You will see just in a little bit. I'll trim off the front panel, disconnect it, and mount it on some other card base. It all worked out in the end, but yeah, I've done this so many times. Nowadays I just start with just the panel, not the whole card. Moving on, what you see me do here now is add bling. This is one of my favorite ways to add bling. Add glue, add chunky glitter, and voila, that's it. It just looks so pretty, and I cannot, for the life of me, I cannot create a card without bling. So there it is. Yeah, I let it rest for a few seconds and then tap it off. Fold one of my used MISTI pages to use it to scoop that glitter, and then tap off the excess glitter onto it and leave it alone, and then scoop it back. So my one card is ready. One card is ready. It's going to become a card panel because, boo boo. And then what I did was I simply trimmed two top folding card bases from pink cardstock, and I foam mounted both of my panels onto the middle of these card bases. I did have some trouble with the glue here. I have always struggled with this glue. Maybe I'm not doing something right with it. It tears off my paper just a little bit, but it worked out in the end. It didn't do such a bad job. Just a little bit, no biggie. But I struggled a little bit with it. Then I tested it in the light. It doesn't show badly. So that worked out, and this made my both the cards ready. On the second panel, I added bling using my Stickles. Just tiny dots, but they make a huge difference. I feel like that's how I finished both the cards. I hope you like this idea. I hope you give it a try. Let me know if you do and tag me on social media. I would love to see what you guys make with this idea. Thank you so much for taking time to hang out with me today. God bless you. Bye.